Everybody up there on Instagram, the top camera here in the basement, and hello everybody here on Facebook Live, the bottom camera here in the basement. Welcome to another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement with yours truly, comedian Mike Marino. It's hot as hell in the state of New Jersey, and unfortunately, it's still hot here in the basement. I got the fans on. I'm doing everything I can to keep my guest cool, calm, and collected, if we can actually say that. Tonight's guest is comedian Ken Krantz. Thanks for coming down. You like the way I said that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
Ken Krantz, he's a fellow comedian. We've done some shows together. We're probably going to do even more shows together. And I asked him if he'd come down to the basement tonight, hang out with me, and talk about what's going on in the world, and enjoy my fans, my friends, and my family as we get along down here in the hot, sweaty basement. So thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
How far did you have to come from anyway?
This is almost an hour. This is how long this pandemic's coming on, that when a guy you barely know is like, hey, do you want to come hang out in my basement? You're like, fuck yeah.
He knew I was serving pizza. Let's be honest. Now, you're down in Asbury Park?
I'm in Asbury Park.
We talked on my show last week about Asbury Park being one of the most famous towns known for its music and the stars that come out of Asbury Park, because the girl last week on the show was Vanessa Rachi, and Vanessa is a singer from New York City. So we were talking about friends that we had in common that came out of the music scene in Asbury Park. Now, mind you, this girl's in her 30s, and she knew everything about Italian jazz and rock and roll and stuff like that. I didn't, but I knew about guys like Springsteen,
Yeah.
Bon Jovi, stuff like that. So who do you know, or do you see, or are you familiar with the whole Asbury Park scene?
We just had, there's so many great bands that have come out of there, but we just had Bobby Bandiera.
Yes.
We just had Bobby Bandiera on my podcast.
No.
Yes. We just interviewed him like last week.
Oh, see now, you were telling me before we started the show, I don't have many very big guests. With my podcast is kind of, now you had Bobby. Mm-hmm. He's a big deal.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He told some amazing stories.
I caught you. You put the pizza before it was time to bite the pizza. Now he's going to spit up all over me. Oh, no, there's a time to eat. There's a difference between a Jewish guy and an Italian guy in this basement. He can eat when he wants. I'm Italian. You eat when you're told.
Can I drink when I want?
You can drink when you want. That's the good thing. Oh, that is hilarious.
Yeah, Bobby Bandiera came on and told amazing stories about being the musical director at Special Olympics White House fundraiser 2 years in a row, jamming with Stevie Wonder and Eric Clapton.
Wasn't he one of the Beatles in one of the Beatles groups?
Oh, if he was like one of the
when they did a
like Beatlemania?
What do you call it? Beatlemania.
Yeah.
I think he was in Beatlemania, which was on Broadway back in the day. You remember when Beatlemania was such a hit? It was actually on Broadway.
Yeah, I've heard of that. It was a little before my time, but yeah.
Oh man, am I that old? Shit. Bobby Bandiera.
Yeah, he came on, he brought his guitar, played a new song.
No shit.
Yeah.
You know who I've been trying to get on the show, and I'll say this right now. He hasn't had a chance to come. I think he didn't want to do the whole COVID protection plan that we do. We get tested, we get vaccinated, we try to do everything that we're supposed to do here in the basement. And it was a guitar player who plays with Bruce from once in a while. I think he plays with Bandieras once in a while. They're all friends. There's a cluster of these guys down in Asbury Park. Oh shit, now his name's going to escape me. I know he plays with Miami Steve, Stevie Van Zandt. It'll come to me. Shit. All right, anyway. So that's great that you get to have him on the show.
Yeah.
Good guest?
He was a great guest. He told if you go to I Love Rock and Roll podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud or Spotify, he told some amazing stories from the road. He told one that could possibly get him Me Too'd out of a career.
Really?
If it was...
We don't do that here.
You gotta go and listen.
None of that shit happens here in the basement. There is Me Too. We're all Me Too. We're included. We're all included. But
I even asked him, I was like, are you sure you want to leave this story in? He was like, I did it. It fucking happened. Leave it in.
oh, all right.
So,
Yeah, that could get you fired. That can get you fired, I guess, these days. I mean, I stay away from all of that. I have a clean slate. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I will say I'm single. All right, nothing. But that's really great. So while you mentioned that, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can hear your podcast one more time?
So iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify. I think we're up on Stitcher. It's the I Love Rock and Roll podcast.
I Love Rock and Roll podcast. Sounds fantastic. And now you're here down in my little podcast. We're on the same sites as well, but we're going to talk about that at the end of the show. Right now, we're going to get into what's going on in the news. But before I leave this, because this is a great topic, you'll see there's actually a lot of memorabilia down here from Asbury Park. I got a bowling pin from the Fast Lane. I got a couple of autographs from the E Street Band. And I got the sign that was over at the Wonder Bar. I love Asbury Park.
Yeah,
That
me
is
too.
one of my first. Well, hey, let's do this now. See, my show never really has the right track. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I know I talked about how structured we are, but we're way off. It doesn't really matter. My first DVD was filmed at the Paramount Theater in Asbury Park.
God, it's a great
Look at
theater.
that. 1,600 people came to watch the taping of this show in 2007. And in 2007, that theater was condemned.
Yeah.
We weren't even allowed to go in there. But we rented it, and the fee was free. Go ahead. They didn't think we were going to get anybody. And here's actually the sound version. Remember CDs?
Barely. Of course.
CDs, and it came out, and it was all over the globe. And I had some stardom for a little while, and now you can't get this.
See, that's a collector's.
It's a
maybe
collector's-
someday somebody will send you a copy in the mail.
It's now part of my antique collection. Oh, that is hilarious. Wow, Asbury Park. You know what's really great, too, if you think about it and if everybody knows about it? I mean, this is where my parents went. Asbury Park was the place to be.
Yeah.
Remember, they had the Swan River and the ice skate. There used to be an ice skating rink. My mother told me about this stuff. You can look it up on the internet, Asbury Park historical baloney, but all that stuff is down there, and it's super cool. And of course, a lot of legendary people, and not only Bruce Springsteen, not only Bon Jovi, but
Southside Johnny.
Southside Johnny and Asbury Jukes, and actors. What am I thinking? Big name actor came out of Asbury Park. A lot of them did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who's in Goodfellas? The star of Goodfellas.
Oh, Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta. Well, no, I think he's from Union, New Jersey.
Oh.
He went to Asbury Park High School. Famous guy. Started out in the movie Taxi, in the TV series Taxi.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we talking about? Aiello. Danny Aiello.
Danny Aiello.
No, not Danny Aiello.
No, he wasn't. Oh, Paul.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Danny
wasn't
DeVito.
in
See, we should have
Goodfellas.
researched.
Danny DeVito was born in Asbury Park.
You're right.
He
That's
just
what I
wasn't
meant.
in Goodfellas.
No. All right.
What kind of Italian are you?
I'm a fucked up one.
How do you not know who's in Goodfellas?
I didn't do the history of that for this show. I did your history. I don't know how we went down that road, but we did. We went down Abbey Road. And I guess, you know what? Hell, while we're talking about musicians, we lost one hell of a music icon today.
Charlie Watts. I was so bummed out. This is gonna. Your fans may call me a pussy, but I actually shed a tear.
I think the whole world shed a tear. I think everybody should shed a tear. I mean, this is probably, if not the oldest band still together
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah. Still almost 60 years, which is and when you think about it, with that band, with the rock and roll history they had, this is only the second member to die. This is only the second original member that
I
died.
thought it was the first.
No, well, Brian Jones back in the 60s. Their original guitar player.
Brian Jones. Wow. I would just assume that the only other original band that people lost their minds about that weren't even together half as long as the Rolling Stones, but still from the same era, the Beatles.
Yeah.
Uh,
Were you a Beatles or a
yes.
Stones guy?
Well, I would think Beatles.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, it'll be Stones now, of course, because the Beatles seem to be so long since gone. But Rolling Stones continued, still cut albums, still
Yeah.
came out with new music, whereas the Beatles went off on their own.
Yep.
So Paul McCartney and Linda and John Lennon and Yoko Ono. So they really weren't the band that ultimately kept staying together all this time. So I guess a quick second of silence for Charlie Watts, 80 years old. I would say cheers, Charlie Watts. What a great life. An entire life
You want to hear
as a music icon.
the coolest Charlie Watts story?
Sure,
And I've
break
heard
it
it
up
a
to
bunch
us.
of places. I think I read it in Bill Wyman's autobiography. But Mick Jagger once, I don't know the exact, he was like arguing with Keith about something, and he pointed to Charlie Watts, and he was like, "Oh, just ask my drummer." And then Charlie Watts got up and left the room. They were in a hotel. He got up, he left the room, he went back to his room, took a hot shower and shaved, put on his finest suit, went down to the hotel bar, drank a scotch, like ate a meal, and then he took the elevator back up to the penthouse, knocked on Mick Jagger's door. Mick answered it, and he punched him right out. He threw a right hook, punched him right out, laid him out against like, he fell back into like the room service trays or whatever, and then he said, "I'm not your drummer, you're my singer, and don't ever fucking forget it."
No shit.
Yeah. Is that the greatest story?
Yeah. Is there truth to it?
I read it in Bill Wyman's autobiography, and then today when he died, I saw it pop up on a bunch of reputable sources. They were like, "I bet you didn't know about that time Charlie Watts knocked out Mick Jagger."
Wow.
Yeah. How
That
fucking cool
is
is
a
that?
great story.
Yeah.
It's almost like the stories when they talked about the Rat Pack and what Sinatra did and what those guys all did. But I never knew that story. That's fantastic. Imagine going over to that guy and knocking him out. And they were still in the band together. I
Yeah.
wonder would they wake up the next day and say sorry about that?
Yeah. I don't
And,
know.
you know,
Well, I mean, 60 years. That's it's almost 60 years in the same band. That's longer than most marriages.
yeah, you wonder if there was ever a time where they had big blowouts
Oh, yeah.
and they
for
said,
sure.
you know, this sucks. I don't want to work with you no more. I'm going on my own.
Yeah, back in the mid 80s, they did that.
See, I can understand why some bands somewhere in their careers would get in big fights. You know, ego. Somebody always needs to be the ringleader. Some people don't want to be the ringleader. They just want to be the other guy, and
Right.
they can't because they're too busy making shit happen. You know, sometimes when I'm out on tour as a stand-up comic, I feel like going, you know what, I don't want to be the headliner. Let me go first. I'm older than you guys. I should be in bed while you're on stage. But, you know, after doing stand-up comedy for 30 years, that's kind of what's going to happen. And then you work with some people that you enjoy being around, and then sometimes you work with people and you feel like going, oh, not him again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like any other job.
I guess I don't even know what it's like to be in any other business
Yeah.
anymore. So I would wonder what it would be like if you were working somewhere like at a supermarket and you said to the guy, you know what, you don't know how to bag, let me do it. And then they look at you and go, well, we got self-checkout. Fuck everybody, let them do it.
Yeah.
That joke would have been funny if there was a crowd around.
It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
that self-checkout.
It is. It's
And they
ridiculous.
you always got to get somebody there, and it's like, oh, we'll send help.
Yes.
Yes.
When you hit that button.
Right.
The
And it's like, well, why
moron
isn't the
button.
fucking help guy just ring me up? And
Right.
why am I doing this?
He should have just been
Yeah.
doing it the first time. I was in Target today, and I did the self-checkout, and the guy was there, and he was watching me, and then I had the question, do you have any coupons? So the machine asked me, do you have any coupons? So I just looked at the guy working there. I go, you got any coupons? Because I forgot mine. Maybe I could borrow yours. Were you buying soap today? I just came for the soap. Is there a 2-for-1? You know? He didn't think it was funny either.
Do you carry? I've never carried a coupon. In
I
my
would
life.
never
I would,
carry a
I would die
coupon.
of embarrassment before presenting a coupon to somebody.
I would love to save money with coupons. I
Yeah.
really would. I just don't know how to do it. I never was the type of guy that, by the time I'm done clipping this coupon, I'm saying to myself, do I need tampons? Just because there's 50% off, I'm going to take one. I'll buy shit that I don't need because I had the coupon. So that's why I don't do it.
Yeah, I would. If they gave me a coupon that was like all this shit is free, I feel like I'd still pay. I'm just too embarrassed to hand a lady a coupon.
Well, I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll take the coupons. I'll waste somebody's time. I don't care. I just never have the right coupon. When I go to CVS, they always print out tons and tons of coupons, right?
Yeah.
And you really feel like going, why didn't you give me these coupons before I bought this shit? Because I could have used the coupons then, not when I come back. And I always get coupons to buy this Coffee Mate, because I buy Coffee Mate or Raises. And I feel like going, I just bought Raises and Coffee Mate. Why didn't you give me the coupon before I bought it? I could have used it now. Because by the time I come back, I'm going to lose that coupon.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be expired.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to use it. See how we went from rock and roll to coupons? This is the greatest show you've ever not watched. We were watching the news today when Ken came down, snacking on some pizza. We're going to snack on some pizza in a little bit too. But there's some crazy shit going on in the news. So let's start off with the stuff that we find funny. Okay? There was a guy. Now, this part I don't find funny. Disclaimer.
Yeah.
He was choking. He was choking on what he said eventually was chicken parmesan that he got at one of his favorite diners in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay? A, you don't get chicken parmesan at a diner.
No.
He's Jewish, he said no.
Yeah. No, even I know that.
Yes. Where do you get it?
You get it from an Italian restaurant or a pizza place run by Mexicans.
Thank you, Ken. We'll be here all night. You go to an Italian restaurant and you get chicken parmesan. You don't get chicken parmesan at a diner.
No, you don't get seafood at a diner.
No,
There's
people
certain
got
rules.
seafood at diners.
No, that's insane.
Have you ever sat at a diner and have somebody say, how is the lobster? Oh, it's fresh. We just got it in the puddle back in the back.
Yeah. No, you don't get seafood at a diner.
I'm glad we agree with this. These are Jersey boys.
Yeah.
You don't buy pasta or macaroni at a diner. You don't get chicken parmesan at a diner. And you don't get seafood at a diner.
No.
What do you get?
You can get a club sandwich or a burger or
I
eggs,
love this guy.
and that's it. That's really it. It's a test. That giant menu's there just a test to see what kind of man you really are.
Isn't it amazing, the size of a menu at a diner?
Yeah, and
It's
there's-
like a book. It's like a trilogy.
Right. And there's 3 things that you can order without being embarrassed.
The club,
Yeah.
turkey club, which a diner really does do well.
Yeah.
They make you a turkey club. It's thick, it's fat, comes with coleslaw and a pickle. You live in large.
Yeah. It's the real turkey.
Yes.
Not that processed shit.
It's not the steakums either. It's big. And then, hamburger.
Get a burger.
You can't blow a burger.
Not at a Jersey diner.
Sometimes you can get a California burger. You can get a pizza burger. Hamburger deluxe. The diner will not screw up the burger.
No.
And then
Eggs, breakfast.
breakfast.
And, yeah, that's it.
You get breakfast at a diner. What kind of breakfast? Depending on the time of day. Not everybody gets their breakfast at the diner in the morning.
Yeah. You need 24-hour breakfast at the diner.
You can go at night. What would you get at night? People get breakfast at night.
I get breakfast at night.
Yep.
I'm not scared. After a show?
After a show,
Yeah.
when the comedians are done performing somewhere and you're on your way home, you want to hang out at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, nice cup of coffee at the diner with some
Get some eggs.
eggs,
Yeah.
home fries, pork roll, bacon, or I'm waiting for him to say it. He's not saying it, but I'll say it.
Pancakes?
Pancakes. Oh, I'm so fucking hungry right now. It's ridiculous. But that's what you get at a diner. So anyway, getting back to the story that we were talking about an hour ago.
Oh, yeah, dude choked.
The guy choked.
I'm keeping up.
Please, because I don't know where we are. You don't get any Italian food in a diner. Everybody's going nuts right now. We're going to take in questions. Don't worry. Just keep watching. The guy chokes on chicken parmesan. Some good Samaritan in the diner gives him the Heimlich maneuver, and he spits up the food. Now, the food goes all over the floor, And I don't know how the news shows up.
Yeah.
How did the news get there? Like, who called? A guy just got saved from choking. Called Channel 7.
The guy who gave the Heimlich probably called first. It was like, listen, I'm about to save a dude's life. You need to send
I need
somebody.
some TikTok. I need some social media.
Yeah. I'll save this guy's life, but help me go viral.
Yeah. How did the news get there?
Yeah.
So the guy says, thank you to this good Samaritan for saving me. They interview the guy who saves him. And he goes, oh, well, you know, I knew he was choking by the way he was choking.
It's when he turned blue.
So after I called the news, I figured now it's time to get him. So I gave him the Heimlich. He spit up the food. But here's the killer. The guy goes, well, I won't be ordering chicken parmesan here at this diner for at least a month. I'm going to stick to hamburgers.
You know what he should do for that month? Instead of being like, I'm not going to get chicken parmesan, how's about I'm not going
to eat.
I'm going to fucking chew for the next month.
See, that's what I meant.
Yeah, every time I think I've chewed enough, I'm going to chew 5 or 10 more times, and then I'm going to swallow. And I'm not going to blame it on the chicken parmesan.
It wasn't about watching what you're doing. It was about, I'm not going to get the chicken parmesan. Instead of, I think I'll chew it 100 times. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Maybe use a knife and fork for the next month instead of shoveling this shit into your mouth.
Instead of just picking up the whole thing and biting it in a circle. I'm not saying I didn't do that. I'm saying, it is. But anyway, so he saved this guy's life. And then they say as a disclaimer, everybody should go out and learn how to save a choking person. So there you go. There's the moral to the story. Go out and learn.
I feel like I can do it even though I've had no training in it. I feel like I've seen it enough in the movies and they make it look pretty easy.
I think so too. I think if I saw somebody choking, I would be knowledgeable enough to go underneath their stomach and that thing and go
that. Yeah.
And then, then choke him and take his wallet. That's I got to get a tip. Imagine he's choking. Just choke a little longer. I got to fix my camera, get a TikTok.
Wait
a minute. There's another crazy thing that was going on in the news today. And hospitals and doctors around, I guess, the United States, but I'm sure it's going to go viral and then it'll go around the world. The doctors and the hospitals are saying, please stop doing the milk crate challenge. You familiar with it?
Yeah, I just watched one where you stack up a bunch of milk crates and then you try and walk up and down without falling and breaking your neck.
Right. All right, we got people who are walking up and down stacks of staircased milk crates. And as they get to the top, of course, they're all videotaping each other. And the friends of the person taking the walk are hoping you're going to fall and break your neck because that's where the comedy comes from.
That's what I'm rooting for.
Me too.
I'm rooting for the milk crate every time.
So these people are hurting themselves so badly that they broke bones, arm, leg, twisted the ankle. So they go into the hospital and they're screwing up the people who are coming in who really have medical emergencies. So they're asking if you would all stop, please. But I don't know about you. I watched a couple people walking up the milk crate and I'm saying to myself, tomorrow afternoon I'm doing the milk crate challenge. And I'm going to stage the fall, of course. But that's some bad shit. So be careful out there, folks. It's not all about the YouTube channel unless you're watching this show.
Yeah,
then it is.
Why are they in the middle of a pandemic? Somebody was like, we should come up with a challenge that sends people to the hospital.
That's just how nuts the world has become. With all the tragedies going on in the world, let's just walk up and down some milk crates and break our asses to break up the monotony.
Yeah.
But that's what's going on. In fact, there's another one that they're outlawing completely now. In the state of New Jersey, I don't know about other states and around the world, but in the state of New Jersey now, hazing is illegal. They made it illegal, and not only is it illegal, there's going to be the consequences of jail time and possibly huge fines. Now, if you're not familiar with hazing, it's when you go to your first year in college and the new guys or the older guys, the juniors and seniors, rough you up a little bit when you want to join a fraternity, and I guess maybe a sorority as well. And 4 years ago, there was this guy, he was playing the game where they was making him drink way too much beer. He got so drunk, he fell down a flight of stairs and he died. So now there's a lot of laws in the state of New Jersey that you cannot haze at all. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was going away to school, we had fun, and yeah, they would try to jack you up a little bit, but I don't think they even called it hazing. I think they called it almost like mischief night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing really happened.
Were you in a fraternity?
No.
And did you
No, I had a shore house.
Yeah.
You had a shore house.
You had time for that shit.
And on the first weekend of the summer, you know, you had to drink a lot of extra beer until you were accepted into the house, something like that. But no, I didn't. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. That was my college.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as hazing.
They weren't hazing.
Yeah, they were heckling. There was no hazing. There was heckling. You suck. And then you went out and got drunk on your own.
Like, I do suck. Like, I was right. I didn't join a fraternity. The whole thing just seems so dumb to me. I don't know anybody who outside of college, like, you know, I'm 45 now, so I have friends. I'm 20 years removed from college, and I don't have any friends who still have any connection to their fraternity.
Right.
Listen, if you're out there and you're thinking about joining a fraternity, this is what you do. You go to college, you make one good friend in each fraternity, and you still get invited to the parties, and then you don't have to, like, do their homework or drink 9 bottles of Jägermeister or any of that dumb shit. That's what I do.
I don't even know how there can be hazing when most states have legal marijuana.
Yeah.
When I got high, I didn't pay attention to nothing.
Yeah, you're not like, let's paddle.
They're like,
some
drink a
kid's
case
ass.
of beer. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm eating pizza. I don't drink no. I'm stoned, dude. There's no hazing here. I'm hazed. I don't want to go surfing. We don't live near a beach. Who needs a beach? Google it. But no, and of course now here in well, not New Jersey, but New York, we have a new governor, and the new governor was sworn into the office today. And between the two of us, we can't think of her name.
Yes, we couldn't even be bothered to Google it.
Yeah, well,
It's a lady governor, though.
we have a lady governor in the state of New York, not New Jersey. I actually think it's a great idea. I hope it works out, because that could slow down any kind of accusations on things that may or may not have happened. And we don't have to think about that no more.
Right.
We don't have to watch the news and hear this governor did this, because now there's a female governor.
Right.
I don't think the reverse could ever happen.
Right. Now, who's going to report that she grabbed your dick?
Could you imagine?
No. Even if she was.
I can't believe what happened. I was working here, and then I went into the bathroom.
The new governor grabbed my dick.
No, I didn't say that. He said that. She walked by and looked at me with a whistle. Ooh, a whistle. I think it's a great thing. I'm really hoping it's going to be a big, big impact. And she went on television today and she said, I'm taking the bull by the horns and this is what's going down. So whether people like the mask mandate or not, it's happening. And whether people like you have to be vaccinated or not, it's happening.
Yeah.
Especially in the schools.
I like that attitude, though.
Yep.
I kind of like that attitude.
There's no wishy-washy
Yeah.
about it. This is the way it's going to be. She ain't asking no questions. Here's what I got. Here's what you're doing. Done. So like I said, maybe now there'll be no riffraff. We won't have to hear about no shit anymore, which would be really, really great. I'm fully vaccinated. I got tested COVID clean today, actually. I had to go today.
Yeah.
I wanted to go yesterday, and the nurse at the Minute Clinic, which just became a new routine for me, wasn't there. I always go to the same place. It's free. This place right here in Watchung on Route 22, you don't have to have an appointment. If you want to get a rapid test, you just walk in, say, I'm here for a rapid test. They'll ask you, what are your symptoms? And you might have to say, I got a few extra ones, so that they'll do it.
Right.
If you say, well, I want to get tested because I'm having a podcast, they're going to look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I did that with my test. And the
Really?
yeah, I didn't think.
You got
The
to...
doctor was
I'm going on a talk show.
yeah. I was like, well, I'm doing a podcast. And he kind of looked at me like,
Oh, really?
yeah.
For yours or for this one?
For this one. For
No
here.
shit.
Yeah, for here when I went to get the test.
See, it makes you wonder, too. Could we say this is for business? This is for work, possibly? Anyway, so I went there, and she said that she wasn't there and that she might be back at noon. So I went back at noon, and she wasn't there. This is the Minute Clinic up in Watchung. And I says, listen, I really have to have this done. And she goes, there's another one on Route 22 in Springfield. So I go down to the one on Springfield, no waiting, nothing. I walked right in. And then I said, can you give me a rapid test? And she goes, I can give you the other one, the one that takes 24 hours.
The PCR.
PCR, which is more accurate. So I said, well, I'd like to have the more accurate one. And, but I'm fully vaccinated and I need it for the show. And she goes, well, the rapid tests are not always that accurate.
Yeah.
So I'm like, give me the full Megillah. But I didn't have to wait in line, and I didn't have to make an appointment. I just showed up.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in getting a COVID test, there's 3 different type of tests. One you get in 15 minutes, one takes 24 hours, and the third one I'm not really exactly sure. You don't have to pay for it. You can even get vaccinated there. Minute Clinic, CVS, Walgreens, and there's this other one. I forgot what it's called off the top. Advantage. And they're all right there. And it was quick and easy and painless. And you can come up with routines. And here's my new routine. I went to the Minute Clinic to get a COVID test. 3 hours later, I got my results. Oh, he got it. 3 hours. Well, it's a clinic. Anyhow, so we're all safe. Oh, and here's one more thing on this subject, then we'll get into some funny shit. The blue mask, the #1 seller, is the one that the doctors wear.
Yeah.
It's very thin, and they're cheap. You buy a box of these things, they're like 70 or 80 in a box for a couple of bucks. You can even get them at the Minute Clinic. Supposedly, they're only 10% effective. If you want a mask that is the most effective, you want the N95. I don't know if it's N95 or M95. Right. You put it on your face and it sucks you right down there and you can't even breathe, but boy, the COVID can't get in. Well, I saw in the news today, the doctor said if you bought a box of the masks that are only good for 10%, here's what you do. Take one, put some toilet tissue in, and then put on another one. Put it on your face, and then take the most tightest stocking and put that over that, and then you're good to go.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's real shit?
Yeah.
I'd rather die of COVID than walk around like that.
Or, here's what you really can do. If you want to be protected from COVID at a blah, 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 blah percent, buy my mask. It says, Make America Italian Again, and you can get them at MikeMarino.net. MikeMarino.net. You can buy shirts, tracksuits, hoodies, underwear, and these masks that are absolutely blah, 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 blah percent effective against everything.
It keeps everything out but your mom.
Hey, Ma, come on in. Britney Spears was also in the news. You want to take this one?
Britney Spears was in the news
Yes.
saying that she just bought her first pair of red heels. It's the first time that she's ever owned red heels. And that everybody should go out and wear whatever colors you want because colors make you happy.
How crazy is this? That for the first time in her life, this was in the news, we're not making it up, she bought red high heels. And you know what she's going to do? She's going to do the milk crate challenge.
Do you? Here's what I was trying to make sense of when they showed that news story. Do you think they were like, were they alluding that like with her conservatorship, her father would never let her own red heels, and now that he's out, she's because she also just made a very big deal about getting her first iPad. And they're not saying that she wasn't allowed to have it, but I feel like that's what they're alluding to.
I would assume the same thing you just said. How does this person, who's gorgeous, dances in high heels, all of a sudden now, because her father's not the whatever he was, goes out and says, now I'm going to buy red high heels? What's next?
Yeah, was her dad like, you can have anything, but if you fucking think you're wearing red high heels and getting an iPad, you're out of your mind? We're like,
He must have said to her, honey, while I'm in control of your money, you're wearing flip flops.
there's nothing but black high heels. I love listen, I'm not saying that I don't have sympathy for her situation, but the people who are like free Britney, and then you go on Britney's Instagram and she's jet skiing in Hawaii with her boyfriend. Like, yeah, you know what? She can switch spots with me. I'll take her dad's conservatorship. Like free Britney living in a Las Vegas compound.
Yeah. Just out of control. Look at we're going to take in some callers and we're going to take some messages, but listen to this one that came right now. This is from Mary D'Angelo Marchese, Marchese, or Marchese, I don't know how to say it. But Britney Spears is going to pretend she's Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. That's actually hilarious. Thank you for that. We're going to get a lot of really cool readings from all this. We got one more that we're going to put out, and then we'll take in some callers while we eat some wonderful pizza that's been sitting here for a little bit with our beers. We were also watching the news tonight when Ken came down. This woman has this place.
Chrissy Teigen.
That was her name?
It was Chrissy Teigen. She's John Legend's wife.
With this hamster in the
Yeah.
wall? Oh.
It was Chrissy Teigen.
Oh. Well, I didn't even know that. I thought it was a person.
Yeah. They just canceled her.
She had a show?
Oh, no. She got canceled for being a bully.
Oh, you know more of this story than me.
Yeah.
Go wind back and go forward.
So Chrissy Teigen, she's not on Twitter or Instagram anymore because she got. Do you know who was that lady who married the really old dude from the show Lost? Courtney Stodden.
Oh yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
I know Courtney.
She was like 16 or 17 and married
Courtney?
like a 50-year-old.
Okay. Now let's have some fun now. Everybody pay attention. This is the real world. About 4 years ago, I was doing a show in California, and Stoughton showed up at the show.
Courtney. Okay.
Courtney, because her mother is a manager. And her mother manages the daughter, but not really anymore. And she told me the story that the daughter, at a very young age, was married to the actor who was in the movie The Green Mile.
Yeah, and he was in Lost.
He was in
She
Lost?
was in the show Lost. Doug something.
The actor's phenomenal. I got to give him that. If you saw the movie The Green Mile, he plays that southern short little kid that they end up throwing him in the straitjacket.
Yeah.
Phenomenal actor. But, young girl, too young to be married to this older guy. Hollywood shit show, crazy story. She becomes a reality show girl, and she was coming to the Laugh Factory in Hollywood. That's how I got to meet her. And, of course, she has all the adjustments.
Well, she's not, I don't think she's a lady anymore.
Wow, that could be.
No, she's not a dude. I think she's, like her pronouns are them and they.
Okay, but now this gets you to that other woman.
So Chrissy Teigen, who's married to John Legend and had a very big Twitter following, and that was based on being kind to people, and she seemed like a real saint.
Right.
And then Courtney Stodden put out some screenshots of private messages that Chrissy Teigen had sent her years ago when she was a kid, telling her to kill herself and to take a dirt nap and that she hated her.
Man.
And then a few other people responded like, oh yeah, Chrissy Teigen used to cyberbully me. I mean, it was like 10 years ago or something. But now she's remade her image and she's like this like Hollywood good girl, and she just got canceled. Everybody got sick of her shit. She's off Twitter. She's off Instagram. So now I think the only way she can get some exposure is to have Entertainment Tonight in to report about the hamster in her wall.
Okay, so here we are in the basement, sweating our asses off, doing everything and anything we can to get some sponsors and some fans. And this girl, Chrissy Teigen, can't find her hamster. But there's a knock on the wall, and it sounds kind of funny.
Right.
Then there's another knock on the wall, and she can't seem to find it. And then she decides, let me just put a hole in the wall to see what's inside the wall. And lo and behold, her hamster comes through the hole.
Right.
So tomorrow morning, we're going to be walking on milk crates.
You know what's crazy though?
Holding hamsters.
The hamster came out and promptly cyberbullied it to death.
The hamster came out of the wall.
Yeah.
But how did that really happen? How did it be fake?
They got a camera. I mean, she knew enough to have somebody filming.
It had to be fake. How do you make your hamster go up the same height as you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
It wasn't on the
like
floor.
It was like shoulder height.
It wasn't crying.
Right.
It comes all the way up. There's nothing in there. What are you holding on to? And then it comes in the hole, and she has the mug or the wheel,
The
hamster wheel,
ball.
the hamster ball for him to go in. The hamster goes in the ball, and everybody's happy.
I think it was just a ploy to get back on TV. Like, I think her and John Legend were just sitting around like, maybe if we say we got a hamster in the wall, people will pay attention again.
You won't believe this, everybody, but there's a knock on the wall. Oh, maybe that's the dog. How did the dog get in the wall? I don't know. He was mad at us.
I haven't seen Grandma in a few days.
But this is true shit. And it's in the news. In the meantime, people are going crazy in Afghanistan to come to the United States. Could you imagine being a refugee? You come to the United States and you're happy and you're like, oh my God, thank you, America, for letting us come. Oh, let's just put the TV on. Oh, look, they have hamsters in their walls.
Yeah, it's probably not that different than Afghanistan. It's probably.
He said it. I ain't say nothing. All right.
I want to see the Taliban do the milk crate challenge.
Oh, these poor people. Well, anyhow, tell us about your career. What's going on with you?
I mean, I'm here. What could possibly be going on with me?
It's Tuesday. Do you know how many people want to come down the basement on a Tuesday night? Trust me, we're booked for the next 6 months. In fact, if anybody out there would like to be on my show, live from my mother's basement, just write my producer, Tatiana Blueshell, at MikeMarinoEntertainment@gmail.com. Write to Tatiana. Tell her why you would like to be on this show. That's MikeMarinoEntertainment@gmail.com. And check this out. The first Tuesday of September, which I believe is September 7th, I will be celebrating my 200th episode of Live from my mother's basement.
Oh, nice.
Right here in the basement. 200 episodes.
You got it.
And my special guest is going to be my dad. He's one of the most requested guests out of the 200. So he will be making his appearance on the show. But that night, we will be talking about all the people that we had on the show within the 200 episodes. So if you're out there watching and you have a guest that you enjoyed so much on the show, tell me who it is. You could tell me right now if you like, or you can email me, MikeMarinoFans@gmail.com, MikeMarinoFans@gmail.com, and not only tell me who your favorite guest was, videotape yourself telling us who it is and why. You could do it. Anthony Rena, I know you could do it. I know you're watching right now. I can't read up there by now. But all you got to do is tell me who your favorite guest was. We will contact that guest. We'll have him on the show again. Plus, we'll air your videotape as well. All you have to do is say, hey, I'm so-and-so. My favorite guest on Live from My Mother's Basement was. You might even want to mention why. If you want to say which one you didn't like, that's fine too. Maybe that would be fun. Send it all to MikeMarinoFans@gmail.com. And you could send it via WeTransfer. If you can't just do it from your phone to a Gmail, you could WeTransfer it. Look up WeTransfer. It's very easy. You program it in. It tells you how to do it. Send it over, and away you go. Why don't we take some questions right now from my friend here, Ken. He's a very funny comedian. The last time we did a show, where exactly were we?
We were at, we did that virtual reality show at Gotham for the Oculus Network. Do you remember?
It's a while ago.
It's a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap. We haven't performed together. Not Gotham Comedy Club, a very famous comedy club in New York City. We hope that they're doing well. I don't think I've been there since then.
They're back in business.
Up in business,
yeah, they're back
running
and
running. And I think in New York City you have to show proof of COVID. But we did a show there together. It was a lot of fun. They videotaped it for the internet, and we made tons of money. Why are you laughing? We got food.
I'm laughing because that night I was like, oh, this is actually a pretty decent payday. I don't sell out the Paramount Theater though.
That's all right. We're gonna tell everybody where you're performing, and if anybody has any questions for my friend Ken, right now while we're having our slices of pizza that we got on Park Avenue, right here at Max's Pizza in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. So bang it out, folks. What do you got? Perfect.
What?
What's this? Mary D'Angelo Marchese. It's Nick's mom from the Monmouth County Film Festival. Some folks from the Monmouth County Film Festival came to see me this Friday night, and I'm pretty good friends with this guy, Nick. He's a great guy, great family. Love your family. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to make something happen. Nick is down in Asbury Park. Yes. No, Red Bank.
Red Bank?
What were you talking about Asbury Park?
What was I
You live down in Asbury
Yeah, I live
Park.
down there.
What's the adjacent?
I'm Tinton Falls.
Tinton Falls. A lot of people in Tinton Falls will just say Asbury Park because most people know Asbury Park unless you're from New Jersey.
That's what I do.
I actually know Tinton Falls. Okay, Massimo Battista, does Ken speak Italian?
I'm a Jew.
That's a no.
Isn't Italian English? you just do this a lot? Like American Italian.
In
right?
Italy, they speak Italian.
Right.
In New Jersey, they speak, hey, oh, come
Yeah.
on. So he does. He speaks Italian. He speaks Jewish Italian. Hey, oh, where's my money? Rocco. You think he's Italian? Christine Teigen is doing the milk crate challenge. Debbie. Now she's going to buy Mike Marino merchandise. I hope so. Marona me. Here comes some questions. This is from Pammy. Hello, Anthony. Oh, they're talking to each other. My fans write to each other. They don't watch the show. They watch each other.
I like that you were like, now we're going to take some questions for Ken. And then somebody was like, I'm Nick's mom.
Hey. Hello, Anthony. How are you? COVID going crazy in Florida? Please be careful. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you talking to each other while I'm creating a TV series. Crazy, insane. And he answered her. We're taking some questions. Here comes a question from Mel Candori, who is in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Hello, Mel Candori. She writes to me every morning. Every
Yeah.
morning I do a thing called the Morning Walk with Mike, and I get letters from Australia, Austria, Italy, and Dubai, because I performed in Dubai not too long ago.
Austria is the bad one, right? Isn't that the Hitler one?
I think you think in Germany?
No, but wasn't he originally from Austria?
Who?
Hitler.
I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't read that book. Okay, here's a question. I signed in late. How long has Ken been in the basement?
6 weeks now. This is insane. He's been... They really don't want me to catch COVID, so I've been quarantining here.
They've been quarantining here for 2 weeks. Hi, Mel. She's saying hello. This is my Jewish friend. He talks Italian.
Hey, over there.
Tell us where you're going to be performing in the next 30 to 40 days.
Oh, I will be, I'm with Jessica Curson this Saturday
You got to tell everybody who she is.
Jessica Kirsten, if you don't know who Jessica Kirsten is, she is one of the absolute funniest people on the planet. I don't know, have you ever met a comic who doesn't absolutely love her?
She's phenomenal.
She destroys.
Very funny.
She destroys everywhere she goes. But we're going to be at the Emmaus Theater in Pennsylvania for 2 shows this Saturday, the 28th.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's a big place.
It's a cool like old movie theater, but they made it into a cool showroom.
Who's on the show?
It's me and Jessica Kirsten.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, she's great.
See, I'm jealous of that shit.
Jessica, there's nobody.
I want to
out
go
here.
there. She is hilarious. She plays the Cellar in New York a lot because I see her on Instagram
Yeah,
posting.
she's always at the Cellar.
So give everybody that information. Maybe they'd like to go see you. That's a double headlining show. You get to see Ken and you get to see a comedian that we're actually bragging about. That really doesn't happen. Jessica Kirson. I always said Kirson.
Yeah.
It's Kirson?
Kirsten.
Kirsten. Very funny. Makes the funniest faces. Look her up on the internet.
She-
I got to get her to come into the basement.
She is hilarious, and I think she grew up not far from here.
Is that right? I
She's a
thought she was
Jersey
a
girl.
Long Island girl.
She lives in Long Island now, but she grew up in East Orange.
Very funny. Okay, let's get this question over here from Mel Candori. Hey, Anthony. She's talking to the other guys. This is out of control. What's your question for us? Anthony's getting all the questions. We might be free in December. They locked down 80% in Australia.
Yeah.
Australia, order some shirts.
I'm reading a book now about Bon Scott, the lead singer of AC/DC. They're the best Australian band, right?
Is that right?
Can you name another Australian band?
They sang Xanadu, right? No. ABBA?
But no, they were like Swedish or Finnish or something goofy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell us also where we can find you on social media.
Ken Krantz Comic on Twitter and Instagram. Or if you're a music fan, you can follow my podcast on Twitter at Rock and Roll with the "and" spelled out at Rock and Roll at Rock and Roll Pod, and you can go to iTunes and get the I Love Rock and Roll podcast. We've only done about 20 episodes, but we've gotten some amazing interviews. We had Richard Marx and Daisy Fuentes.
Oh, this is what I wanted to talk
Yeah.
about. How do you get Daisy Fuentes?
Richard Marx and Daisy Fuentes are married.
Oh,
And Richard Marx, do you know a comic by the name J.L. Covan?
no.
He does, when I tell you it's the best.
See what happens when you use your phone as a camera and somebody calls? Go ahead.
Was it Anthony to answer?
No.
J.L. Covan does the best Trump impression on the planet. Like, to me, it's the only good one.
Right.
And he's Richard Marx's favorite comedian. Richard Marx always retweeting his videos. So Richard Marx just put out his autobiography. He wrote his memoirs. So me and JL read it, and then I had JL on the show, and we did an episode on Richard Marx, and JL tweeted it out, and Richard Marx and Daisy listened to it and loved it, and tweeted at me that he loved it. So I said, well, if you and Daisy ever want to come on, I'll figure out how to squeeze you in. And then as a joke, and then I went to bed. I woke up the next morning with a private message from Richard Marx saying, yeah, we'd love to come on. When do you want to do it?
Holy shit.
So we just had them. We just interviewed them last week, and then 2 days later we got Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction and Porno for Potteros, the great drummer. We had Taylor Hicks on, who won American Idol in 2015.
So you
maybe it was-
mostly
maybe
like
it was
having
like
musicians
26.
on the show.
We either interview musicians or we have comics on talking about different bands or periods in music history.
I want to come on his show,
Yeah.
and I'll talk about Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band that was created on 9th Avenue in Belmar, New Jersey, where I had a beach house most of my life. And I hope I can relive those days, and I think we're going to, because we're going to start putting out some documentary shit about my life back in the days, hanging out on the Jersey Shore, surfing, drinking, no hazing, but laying in the hazy sun, having some fun, the good old school way. So one more time, I want to thank Ken Krantz for coming down to the basement. You can find him on all social media at
Ken Krantz Comic.
Ken Krantz Comic. You can go see the show this coming weekend that he'll be performing with Jessica Kersan, who's one of our favorite comedians
At the Emmaus Theater in Pennsylvania.
Emmaus Theater
Two
in
shows.
Pennsylvania.
And
Two shows.
If you're local in New Jersey, I am with Orny Adams.
Oh my gosh, Orny Adams.
Yeah, I'm opening for him at Stress Factory. 5 shows, September 23rd through the 25th.
Excellent. Another fantastic comedian, Orny Adams, who was performing with me a lot in Los Angeles at the Laugh Factory.
I've never worked with him. I'm excited. He's really funny.
He's a great guy. Really, really funny. You'll enjoy that show. So you got some great stuff going on.
You should come hang out if you're in town.
If I'm still in town, I'll come hang out. Give them both my best. I am friends with both of those comedians. We all know each other. It's been a lot of fun hanging out in the basement. And like I did say before, folks, my 200th episode is going to air on September 7th. Tell me who your favorite guest was in the past 200 episodes just by sending me an email or a video clip to MikeMarinoFans@gmail.com. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mike Marino Live on YouTube, and also subscribe to my website. You get the newsletter every Wednesday at MikeMarino.net. I want to thank my producer, Tatiana Blueshell, out in California, for making this possible. She does an incredible job. We can't thank you enough. And if you want to be on this show, why don't you write to Tatiana and tell her why you'd be a great fit for us down here in the basement at MikeMarinoEntertainment@gmail.com. I got to get going. Let's make America Italian again. Remember my motto: you don't know nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't say nothing. And how do I end every single one of my broadcasts? By saying,
don't take no shit from nobody.
oh, we're going to say it together.
Oh, we do it together?
Yeah, together. Ready?
All right.
Don't take no shit from nobody. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you.
Hey folks, I hope you're enjoying watching my podcast live from my mother's basement. We're having a lot of fun, and I'm going to have a lot of great guests on the show in the future. So if you like it, hit like. You could also leave a comment. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch other funny videos. And you could also listen to my podcast on your favorite podcast app like Spotify and iTunes.